Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm Spiguyver, this is Spiguyver Backpacking, and this is another episode in my stove test series. Tonight we're going to be testing out my DIY mini atomic. Up here, I'll put a link to where you can build one, and I'll show how I built this one. So this has a fiberglass wicking around the outside. Along the inside of this ring here are the burn holes, as you can see right there. And it has a screw that's in the middle that you can unscrew in order to fill it. Once you unscrew that, you can fill it right through that hole that's right there. This fiberglass wicking is supposed to be there to help ignite it, to get it primed. This one does take a little bit to get primed, to get going. So you either really have to wet this or put it on something that you can spill a little bit of fuel around and let it get going. Now this is a burner, so I'm gonna have to use a pot stand to go over it. And so I've got a pot stand that is 5 high, that gives it about that inch, just a little over an inch gap between the burner and the bottom of the pot, which is what we're looking for. This one weighs in at 13.7 grams, so it's a nice little light stove. It's made of the 6.5 ounce Starbucks cans. I like to make a lot of my stoves out of those. They're nice and compact and light and small and work really well. So without any further ado, let's get this going. Let's get this thing all set up and ready to go. Let's go. Okay, so we have the water. It is in here. It is set right now at 59 degrees, so right around the 60 degrees. Let's get the fuel weighed out. We're looking for 1 ounce of fuel, which weighed out is 0.75 of an ounce weighed. And you can see I've got both a measuring cup and I am weighing it. So what I'll do is I'll fill it up until we get the 0.75, and that's what we've got right there. Now this one's a little bit more difficult to fill because it doesn't always go down all that quick, and I am spilling a little bit, which actually will be okay because this one does need a little bit spilled around it in order to really work well. So I like to set it on something where it can do that. All right, so it has taken in that fuel. I'm gonna go ahead and screw this lid on. I am using the yellow bottle heat as always. Now you don't need any special tools to put that in. I just use my thumbnail. I'm gonna go ahead and set this over the top. Let's get this thing lit. I've got this thing ready to go. All right, it's lit. I'm gonna wait till it comes to a bloom and then I'm gonna set it on. And it does take a minute before it'll get there. Want to make sure that it is fully to a bloom before I put it on, because that's really what we're looking for there. Nice flames coming up. Should be heating it up. By spilling a little bit around it, it does help to really heat it up. And that's why I've got it on this tin foil right there. But we want to make sure that it does light. That it's not just the fuel that's on the outside or the fuel that's spilled that we actually see going, but that the actual burners are lit, and I believe they are. So I'm setting this on, hitting start. We'll come back and see what it takes to do this. Okay, here is the burn pattern with this stove. It looks like the atomic bomb, that's why it's called the mini atomic, and you can see it hits the center and kind of spreads out. It's got a nice compact burn pattern, but it puts out a lot of heat. Okay, there's 200 degrees at 5 minutes 5 seconds. Continuing to climb. Okay, there's 209. We've got a nice rolling boil, and that was at 5 minutes, 34 seconds. 5 minutes, 34 seconds. Let's see what we get for burnout. Okay, the flames are definitely going down. And there's burnout right there. 11 minutes, 18 seconds for burnout. Okay, I've got it refilled. It's sitting right here. I've got the water on. Timer's reset back at 60 degrees. And so let's get this thing lit and we'll see what this one takes to come to a boil. I'm gonna turn this light off real quick just so that I can see exactly when it comes to a bloom, and then we'll get the pot on and get the timer started. Nice flames coming off of there. Okay, looks like it is starting to bloom. Let me get this on. Timer started. All right, so let's see what we do with the 550. All right, we just passed 200 degrees. Continuing to climb. Over a minute slower than with the 700. And there's 209. We've got a rolling boil at 7 minutes. 7 minutes for a boil with the 550. Let's see what burnout is. Okay, the flames are starting to die down, and once they go quick, and that's burnout at 12:05. 12 minutes, 5 seconds for burnout. Okay, I've got this thing set up, ready to go again. I've got the timer reset, and the water's a little bit warmer right now. It's 64 degrees. I don't know if that's gonna make a huge difference in the grand scheme of this thing. So I've got it fueled up, Foster's pot, ready to go. So let's go ahead and get this thing lit. We'll wait for it to come to a bloom again. So I will turn this light off so that I can see it a little bit better. And as soon as we get to a bloom, I'll go ahead and put the pot on. So how's this one gonna work? Well, the 700 was better than the 550. So I'm expecting that this one's gonna be a little bit worse than both. All right, that looks like a bloom. Pot is on. Timer is started. Let's see what we do with this one. Okay, there's 200 degrees, a little bit past 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Quite a bit slower than both the 700 and the 550. And there's 209 at 8:23. 8 minutes, 23 seconds for a boil. Okay, the flames are dying down, and there's burnout at 12 minutes and 15 seconds. But I'm a little bit suspect of that time because the stove kept getting cooled off by water that was coming out of this pot. So I'm gonna go with the 12:05. I'll record this one as 12:15, but for the longest burn, I'm gonna go 12:05. All right, guys, so tonight we were testing out my DIY mini atomic, and I've got to say I'm a little surprised at the results of this. I thought that this would be a faster burner, a faster boil, especially with the 550. I thought that it was going to do better than it did. It didn't, but that's what it was. I mean, it is what it is. This is the stove. So, not the fastest up there. Let's take a look at the leaderboard and see where it does stack up. All right, here is our leaderboard. So tonight is the first night that we are kicking someone off the bottom of the leaderboard. And so, where does the mini atomic fall for fastest boil? It falls about 2/3 of the way down with 5 minutes and 34 seconds with that 700. It falls right in the middle with the longest burn of 12 minutes and 5 seconds. And for the fuel usage, it falls in the top half with 0.46. Falling off of the fastest boil was the Starlight Modified with 7 minutes and 57 seconds. Falling off of the longest burn is the MSP Core with 6 minutes and 45 seconds. And falling off for the fuel usage is the MSP Core with 0.56. So while the MSP Core holds the fastest boil, it has fallen off the other two lists. All right, guys, thanks for joining me tonight where we tested out the Mini Atomic. Next week, I'm gonna be testing out the MSP Core Polar. So that's my survival pack. They're the same ones that make the one that's leading on the fastest boil, but they've got a different one that we're gonna be testing out. So we'll see where that one stacks up. Hey guys, if you guys like what I'm doing, go ahead and try and support this channel. I've got these shirts, both t-shirts, sweatshirts, both male and female, coffee mugs up. If you go down below in the description, there is a link where you can buy some of this merchandise. And all of the money that's raised doing that goes back into this channel. I spend a whole lot more making videos, buying the gear, and doing these things to show you guys than I'll ever make from this channel. But I enjoy doing it. I have fun doing it. And the more you guys buy, the cooler new things. There are a bunch of stoves that people have been asking for that I just don't have. I've reached out to people, and even the shipping back and forth to get the stoves, like the MSP, or sorry, the Soto Windmaster and the Soto Amicus. Those were sent to me by a friend of mine. But you know, the shipping back and forth is something that has to be paid for. And so by buying a sweatshirt or a t-shirt, you're really helping me out, and I appreciate it. If you guys haven't before, go down below, subscribe to the channel, like this video if you like it, and give me some comments. If you have a stove you want to see, down below, throw it up there in the comments, and we'll see if we can get to it. I appreciate you guys checking this out. I will see you down the trail.